Hi, I'm Randy Reid, editor of the Edison Report, and we're here at Leducation 2025. This is called our C-Suite series, and I'm joined by Brian DiBella, the president and CEO of Legrand, North America and Central America.
You got it, Randy. Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
Well, thank you for sitting down with me. We're very happy to have you. Now, you have been CEO and president for over a year. What's your opinion of lighting and the controls market?
Well, I think the first thing that has really become clear to me, and certainly at this event, is the power of relationships. So in business, we always talk about people do business with people they like, but the importance here of the connection from manufacturers through the agents to lighting specifiers and engineers, it's really how things get done. And I've really been impressed, and I think it fits well with Legrand's values. As far as where the market is going, clearly some bumps right now with slowdowns in construction, but I think the long-term outlook is still very, very favorable. I think controls are becoming a more and more important part as we look to have spaces become more efficient, more flexible, enabling good productivity, good healing, good learning, you name it.
Brian, I've been talking about controls for 20 years, and we just still aren't where we need to be with regard to controls. Do you agree with that statement? And what can be done to really get controls?
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of different points of view on that one. For us, I think the technology is becoming more accessible, more affordable, more reliable. And so the ability to really have controls become responsive. The biggest challenge I think we talk about is as soon as that building or that room is commissioned, it's no longer accurate because people start coming in and messing around with it. And I think now we go all the way to AI, but even more basic forms of technology to make those spaces a little bit more responsive. I think it's here today. I think it's up to us to figure out how to work together as an industry to bring those flexible, efficient spaces to life.
Okay. How many brands or companies are in the Legrand lighting in the North America region?
So we have 5 lighting brands plus the controls business, which is Wattstopper and Encilium for us.
So you're a conglomerate, but you still act very independent. How do you balance that?
Yeah, that's something we work very intentionally at. And I'll start at the top. Each one of our lighting brands and lighting businesses has a president. And that person wakes up every single day thinking about their business. So they think about Kenall, they think about focal point, they think about fine light, and that's all they do. They have a team of product people, of engineers, of marketers that do the same. They're just focused on their single business, and they interface with the market as an individual business. Now, there's opportunities in the back office to maybe be more efficient with finance or with systems, but the things that touch the market, that make a difference in terms of those relationships that I mentioned earlier, the things that make a difference relative to product innovation, those are focused, and that is, again, what those people at the top of the organizations do every single day.
Well, from an outsider looking in, I would tell you, I think it's a brilliant strategy because it really does seem to work. Because, I spent a lot of time in the Kenall booth yesterday,
Sure.
and I learned a lot about their products. And there is a certain amount of independence with these companies that you buy good companies.
We do.
And you leave them alone.
That's right.
At least that's a reputation that you have. And I'll just go back because I'm an old guy of a company called Genlight with Larry Powers, and I had the privilege of interviewing Larry a few times, and that was his secret sauce, is he had independent companies and he left them alone. And I just think that model really works well.
Well, we're happy with it. We have no intention of changing it. And again, I think it's just being smart about making sure the things that touch the market, the things that customers value, that make a difference, that there's one person and a team around that person that are focused. And we think focused wins every day.
Right. So you don't really have a lot of you don't have a central purchasing.
So purchasing is a mix.
Okay,
so
please.
Think about things like office supplies, travel arrangements. So I'll call it indirect items. So the real back office part of things, if we can negotiate better deals on rental cars and airplane tickets, why not? When it comes to the materials, the components that go into our product, that's local. So again, it's a both answer. It's not an either or. So we look for the things that, again, are going to have customer value, that those are owned by the business. But again, if there's something like cell phone contracts, airplane tickets, office supplies, printers, IT technology, we want to get the best benefit of scale, not just of our lighting businesses, but of Legrand overall.
Okay. Where is the majority of your manufacturing?
USA.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tariffs.
Yes.
I mean, it's a wide open subject. Just tariffs.
Well, look, let's start with the practical parts of the implications on our business. And although we manufacture most of our lighting products here in the U.S., we're still expecting to be impacted by the tariffs. We went through this in Trump's first term, and I'll use the example of the steel and aluminum tariffs that have already been put in place. Okay, so they happen. People that are importing metals have to pay higher prices, but the U.S. producers also raise their prices because they can. And so it ends up causing inflation for the entire market, regardless of where you're making product. You know, beyond that, I think there are going to be challenges for the industry overall, because there's so many things that got moved, let's say from China to Mexico or even to parts of the U.S., but there still might be components, there might be electronics in particular that are still coming from Asia. So even if we're doing end product assembly and fabrication here, there's still going to be materials that are coming in that make these solutions that are going to be affected by tariffs. And again, I think there's only so much you can do to mitigate that, when ultimately you have to just pass the price along, to customers and to the market. And we've been holding off, but we can see the signs now, more and more price increases coming out. Again, the metals have already started to increase in price, even domestic suppliers, again, because they see the opportunity to raise prices. Hopefully they put those additional profits back into new capacity, but for now, it just means more cost for the industry.
I want to go back and change subject and go back to the first point you made about relationships. And being a people business. And I'm just going to show you, I was in Napa not too long ago, and Terry Clark, of course, the founder of Fine Light, he invited me to his home. We spent the night at his home. We had dinner at his home. So I wrote an article, and I'm going to ask you to read it now. But just what a great, so these are the relationships. The fact that I know him from the industry, and my wife and his wife met for the first time, got along fabulously, and we had a wonderful time. So these are lifelong relationships that are made in this industry. And you've had some of the finest people. Okay, closing comments. What are closing comments?
Okay, well, I would say for the industry, I'm very bullish on lighting. I think the things I've seen here, certainly we're very proud of what we're doing, but just seeing where technology, design, function is coming together, we're all returning to office more. We are much more focused on the environment that we live, work, and learn. And I think light is a big part of that. It helps space look more beautiful. It allows us to be more productive, more comfortable, more at ease, to heal, you name it, within those spaces. And I think the advance of technology from a control standpoint is going to make spaces more responsive to us, more responsive to our needs. So I'm looking forward to what's in front of us from an industry perspective.
Final question. Are there any acquisitions in front of you that you care to discuss?
Well, there's this 3 little letters called NDA. So look, Legrand is always looking to continue to grow. It's one of our core foundations, is to be a business that's growing, it's dynamic, it's moving with the market. Lighting, controls, very, very compelling space for us. So I think as the right opportunities come up, you can absolutely anticipate continued pattern from Legrand relative to that.
Excellent. Brian, it's a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you
my pleasure,
so much.
Thank you.